All right, Shalom. First and foremost, as always, I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rachah HaKodash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and salutations to you sincere and hopeful elect Akim, my Rabbi a lot. That's to say 144,000 in the ancient Hebrew, in the Paleo Hebrew, the Lashwan Kodash. Coming back at you with another lesson. And in this lesson, I want to get into, Edomites know they're wrong. All right, all these Edomites, especially the ones in positions of authority, know that they're wrong. Okay. And starting here in Maccabees, First Maccabees, what chapter is this? This is First Maccabees chapter 6. I'm gonna start at 55. It says, meanwhile, Philip, who had been appointed by King Antiochus before his death to educate his son to be king, returned from Persia and Media. He had come back with the royal army and planned to take control of the government. While Lysias heard this news, he made rapid preparations to depart. He said to the young king, to his officers, and to his men, "We are growing weaker each day. We are short of provisions, and this place we are besieging is strong. Besides, there are pressing government affairs which need our attention." All right. So he was making plans on going back to Syria because, in Persia and Media, his plans weren't going as he thought they would. Okay. So now let us arrange a truce and make a peace treaty with the Jews, the Israelites, and their whole nation. We will allow them to follow their own laws and customs as they did before. All right, and this is in the GNT, might I add. So Salakia. Okay, so let me start back up. All right. All right. So this is he returned back from Persia and Media, and then on the way back he besieged, or excuse me, he wanted to make that truce with the Israelites. All right. So on his way back from Persia and Media, that's when he went to make a peace treaty with the Israelites. It says, "We will allow them to follow their own laws and customs as they did before. All this trouble started when we provoked them by abolishing their laws and customs." Okay. So right there, that's an admission that they know they're wrong. Esau knows they're wrong. Okay. For him to make the statement that, all the trouble started when we provoked them by abolishing their laws and customs. Of course, trouble is going to arise and you're going to have conflict and problems when you abolish a nation of people's pretty much heritage outside of the world, oppress a man in his, even a man in his heritage. Let me grab that real quick before I grab that. This is Sirach 12:10. It says, "Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." All right, and that's straight to the point. They should have never trusted Esau, Edom, and made any, the Maccabees, that is, and the Hasmoneans, and they should have never made any peace treaties with Esau, because like iron rusts, so does Esau. He'll feign himself one way for a minute, and then stab you in the back. Okay. Let me see. Micah 2 and 1, it says, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage." Okay. So that, pretty much sums up Esau Edom. He's oppressive, man. He'll oppress a man in his house, a man in his heritage. So just like the Israelites were done in the book of Maccabees, their whole customs were, pretty much oppressed. All right. So once again, verse 59, it says, "We will allow them to follow their own laws and customs as they did before. All this trouble started when we provoked them by abolishing their laws and customs." All right. So Esau knows that they are wrong. All right. They know that they just have an oppressive, intrusive nature. Okay. That they want to just impose on everybody else. They want to impose it on the world. And with the MOTB, that's the ultimate form of Esau showing his intrusive and oppressive nature. All right. Being that they want to actually have their device subdermally implanted within, every human. All right. Verse 60, it says, "This recommendation was well received by the king and his officers. So Lysias proposed peace terms to the Jews, and they accepted them. When the king had his officers solemnly agreed, when the king and his officers solemnly agreed to abide by these terms, the Jews came out of their fortress. But when the king entered the temple area on Mount Zion and saw the strong fortifications, he broke his word and ordered the walls surrounding the temple to be torn down. And he hurriedly left and returned to Antioch, where he found Philip in control of the city. The king attacked the city and took it by force." All right. So, you see how, Esau broke his word when he seen the temple area. All right, and seen how strongly fortified it was. That pissed Esau off, and he broke his word, man. Which is why you can never trust Esau or Edom. All right, and on top of that, they know. Esau knows that they're the problem with the earth. That's why any problem with the planet Earth, this whole global warming hoax, because it's really a hoax. It's not real. And even if you wanted to convince somebody that if Esau wants to convince somebody that it's real, he has to start by acknowledging that if it is real, which is not, but hypothetically speaking, he's the reason for it being real. All right. All these weather abnormalities and things of that nature would have to be because of his inventions, his wicked inventions. But they'll never do that. All right. So coming over here to Proverbs chapter 6 and verse 12, it says, "A naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a forward mouth." All right, that's Esau Edom. Okay. "He winketh with his eyes, and speaketh with his feet, and teacheth with his fingers. Forwardness is in his heart. He deviseth mischief continually. He soweth discord. And that's what Esau has done with all the nations. He sowed discord throughout the whole planet Earth. All right, the whole planet Earth is pretty much in a state of chaos, and it's all because of what Edom. I meant to say Esau. It's what Edom has done. All right, with once again his wicked inventions, his technology. All right, his industrial revolution. Using oil to pretty much fuel everything. Stripping the earth of its oil, putting oil in all these engines and gas, polluting the air we breathe. Esau and his chemtrails, all right, fluoridated water, all right, you name it. Because Esau is in the power seat, his policies, his teachings, his wicked doctrines, just soar sky high and walk through the earth, corrupting the nations. All right, causing a discord, sowing discord. All right, verse 15. Therefore shall his calamity come suddenly. Suddenly shall he be broken without remedy. All right, and the calamity that's gonna come, that's gonna break Esau without remedy, is gonna be thermonuclear destruction. All right. Let me see. Jeremiah 50, 51. All right. This is Jeremiah 50. Let me see. Jeremiah 50 and starting at 6. It says, "Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul." And the way we do that as Israelites is by coming back to serve the Lord. Realizing our error. Realizing that we're a holy people, a separate people, and the customs and the manner of life in which people live here in Babylon is not what we were meant to live. All right, to be engulfed in as Israelites. So when you come to the realization of being an Israelite, you gotta separate yourself from going along with the customs of this world, man, particularly here in Babylon. All right. So that way, when the iniquity of Babylon is pretty much brought before the Heavenly Father and he judges this place, you're not caught up in that. Okay. It says, "For this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. Babylon hath been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad." Okay? So the nations are right now drunk off of, Esau's philosophies and doctrine. All right? Look at the situation going on in the Middle East with Israel and Iran, shooting missiles at one another. All right? That's because of that wine. They're drunk. Okay? And they're mad. Okay? They abide by certain stipulations that are thrown out there from Esau, Edom, and then he doesn't abide by them. All right? And that causes more and more conflict. It's supposed to be a ceasefire, and then you got Israel shooting missiles over to Iran. How is it a ceasefire if that's happening? Which the Iranians already knew that was going to be the case. All right? But that is just an example of how the nations are mad. All right? They're drunk off of Esau's bullshit philosophies. All right? Or just going along to get along, abiding by what Esau says, It says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain. If so be she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. All right. So now you see a lot of the heathen that are here in America. A lot of them willingly are going back to their own countries. All right, knowing that pretty much the milk has run dry here in America. All right. At one point in time, you had the heathen flocking over here to America for opportunities, to get educated and make money. And a lot of them would stay here and raise families, and they are their children is first generation born heathens here. That was for a lot of these nations, but now that they realize that opportunity, the golden cup, so to say, is run dry. So a lot of them are willingly moving back to their native and respective countries. All right. But the judgment of Babylon is about to hit, being thermonuclear destruction. All right. So once again, back here in Proverbs 6:15, it says, "Therefore shall her calamity come suddenly. Suddenly shall he be therefore shall his calamity come suddenly. Suddenly shall he be broken without remedy." All right. So Esau, there ain't gonna be no remedy for the ass whooping the Lord is gonna put upon the Edomites. Okay, it's gonna be a severe ass whooping to where a whole nation of Edomites is gonna be completely burnt up. They're gonna be sizzled. All right, and then the remaining of their brethren is going into captivity. All right, that's the ass whooping right there, belt to ass, as they say now. All right, that's what the Lord is gonna do to Esau, Edom. All right, and he's gonna use the missiles, the angels, and his people, the Israelites, to do it. All right, this is Psalm 34 and 21. It says, "Evil shall slay the wicked, and they that hate the righteous shall be desolate." All right, so evil is what the Greeks and the Romans came with. All right, even today, still today, the Edomites, they come with evil. All right, diabolical plans. Look at the Crown Royal 2020 situation. That was evil, man. And the main people they were trying to pump that Kool-Aid on, all right, the jump shot was Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native and Seminole Indians out there. All right, you were the first candidates that they wanted standing in line to get vaccinated. All right. Verse 22, it says, "The Lord redeemeth the soul of his servants, and none of them that trust in him shall be desolate." All right. So us that trust in Yahweh Shema Shai will not be desolate. Okay, so he's going to redeem the soul of his servants. All right, the elect is going to be delivered out of this situation. All right. Job 20, and this will be my last precept, 20 and 5, it says, I'm going to start at 4. It says, "Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? Though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, Where is he? He shall fly away as a dream, and shall not be found. Yea, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. The eye also which saw him shall see him no more, neither shall his place any more behold him. All right, so planet Earth ain't gonna be, uh, the domain of Esau, Edom. You know, Esau is gonna be like a bad dream that when you wake up, you're trying to remember it, certain parts of it, and you just can't remember. You just know it was a bad dream. You know, that's what's about to happen to these Edomites, and they deserve it. Okay, they're gonna get that I'm speaking as a man. How Dan, the Lord just did away with Dan. I was reading about Dan in the book of Numbers yesterday, and even when you look at when you go to a deep seek and you ask what happened to the tribe of Dan, they don't even know. But one thing they did say was that Dan was included in the 10 lost tribes. So they was around when the northern kingdom got taken down by the Assyrians. But after that, it's ain't no telling what happened to Dan. But the tribe of Dan was heavy into idolatry, heavy. So they could have the tribe could have got killed off in Assyria or who knows, man. But married into the rest of the tribes. Who's to say that that the rest of the tribes, the northern kingdom didn't come together and do something to them. Do something to the men, just like with dealing with Benjamin. Kept the women alive, and just who knows, man. But that's gonna be an interesting piece of history that we in the kingdom is gonna be a movie. We're gonna be able to watch exactly what happened to Dan. All right, but that's what's gonna happen to Esau. However it happens, the Lord, we know that they physical flesh is going, every Edomite is going to be physically burnt up. All right. And their spirits is going to go back to the spirit world. And what the Lord does with that is what he does with that, which, brothers and apostles have mentioned that, that their spirits could come back into the other nations, but we shall see. All right. We shall see. But we know that the earth ain't going to be the physical home of the Edomites after their judgment, because it ain't gonna be on Edomites. Just how you had certain tribes of Hamites that got eradicated. The whole tribe got killed off, slaughtered off. In the ancient world. All right. Let me see. That was a point on that. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up with that, man. Esau is triumphing right now, but it's only for a short period of time. All right, because he is the wicked. All right, according to the Bible. But just want to edify on that. Esau knows they're wrong. They know they're wrong. All right. So till next time, shalom.